Have you ever wondered how to create 7 hours extra per week just for yourself? To do all of the things that you want to do, to recharge your batteries, to read a book, or to go out with friends? Yes? Well, then I'm super excited that you're watching this video today, because in today's video I have invited a special YouTube guest in order to share with you her secrets on how she created 7 hours per week in only 15 minutes a day. So let's welcome our guest to the video today, and it is Kassy Eichele. Hey Kassy, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Julia?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to have you today and to talk with you about how to gain 7 hours extra per week. Before we jump in, let me do a little quick introduction about yourself, and then I would love to hear everything about how to gain those 7 hours. Kassy is a full-time mom to 3 kids, ages 8, 5 and 1. Even before she had kids, she knew that she didn't want her life to be chaotic and stressful, and instead, she wanted to enjoy being a mom. So she decided to take charge of her life and streamlined her home. When she did, she gained 7 extra hours in the week. Now, she teaches other moms how to make their lives easier so that they can have at least 7 extra hours for themselves. And in today's video, she's going to tell us how to streamline our homes in only 15 minutes a day. Kassy, so excited to have you. Such an interesting topic, and I'm so curious. So I would say let's jump into the first question, which is, how do I streamline my home?
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Julia. I'm so excited to be here. The definition for a streamlined home is kind of an interesting one, because if you look around on the internet for any time at all, you will see a lot of people telling you if you do just this one thing, your life will get so much easier. But in reality, there are actually 4 pieces to have a streamlined home that is running easily and smoothly, and that is just easy to manage. So the 4 pieces that you have to have for a streamlined home are: you want to have all of your things decluttered, so you want to have a manageable amount of things in your house. The second area that you need to take care of is having all of your routines in place. The third area is having a meal plan that you can set once and not worry about again. And the fourth area is having a budget that allows you to really be in charge of your money instead of the other way around.
Okay, so you already learned that there are apparently 4 different areas in your life that you need to streamline in order to gain those 7 hours. Kassy, can you tell us about what we need to do each day for 15 minutes in these areas in order to gain those 7 hours?
Absolutely. Yes. So a lot of people say they want to get their homes streamlined as quickly as possible, but they don't have a lot of time to be able to dedicate to this process, because it is a process. You are going to be going through 4 different areas of your life, and these are all pretty big areas. So I developed a system where people can also streamline their home in just 15 minutes a day. So the first step is going to be to make a plan. And I know that doesn't sound like as much fun as just digging right in and getting started, but spending 1 minute of planning can save you 10 minutes when you are actually executing a process. So you definitely want to do this first step and make a plan. And how you're going to do that, you can even pause the video right now and go and get 5 pieces of paper. Then once you have your pieces of paper, take the first 4, and at the top of the first page, I want you to write declutter. On the second page, write routines. On the third page, write meal plan. And on the 4th page, write budget. And we'll get to that 5th page in a minute. But I want you to look at these pages and decide, which of these areas do I need to work on? Because sometimes you may need to work on all 4, but some people may already have a fantastic meal plan in place and they just need to work on the others. Or maybe your budget's working really well and you just need to work on the other 3. So choose which areas you need to work on. Once you have figured out which area you want to work on, I want you to take each piece of paper that you're going to work on and write a list, a very detailed list of all of the things that you need to work on for that particular area. So let's say that you're going to work on decluttering. You want to write down a very detailed list of every area that you need to declutter in your house. If you want to work on meal planning, write down every single thing that you need to work on with meal planning. Now, I don't mean to write down a whole bunch of different meals at this point. We'll get to that later. But for now, just write down, I need to work on my breakfast meal plan or my lunches or my dinners, and just write down as many details as possible for each one of these areas.
I really like the examples that you're sharing with us because I feel like it just makes everything a little bit more clear. Can you share a couple of examples for the other two categories as well, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you need to work on your routines, maybe write down cleaning routine if that's something you need to work on. Maybe you need to work on your daily schedule. Maybe you need to work on your kids' morning and evening routine. Maybe you need to work on yours, any chore routines, any routines that you think would make your life easier, write those down. I also like to include a laundry routine and a kitchen cleaning routine when I am doing this because those two things definitely can make your life a lot easier. And then with the budget, I would also write down, do we need to cut some expenses? Do I need to increase my income? Do I need to pay off any debt? And any of these little things that you can do that will make your budgeting easier and allow you to be better in control of your money.
Okay, great. So now that we have those 4 different categories, we have the 4 different pages with all of the things that we want to change. And I'm sure that if you're watching this video right now, you probably think, oh my God, there are so many different things in my life that I need to change. Where should I even start? That's exactly what we're going to ask Kassy next.
So once you have all of these lists compiled, again, this is just the ones that you need to work on. If you don't have to worry about your budget, don't do that one, or routines, just take the ones that are relevant to you. And once you have those lists figured out, I want you to take that 5th piece of paper and I want you to take all of the little things that you need to work on in these areas and I want you to organize them. We're making a plan for how you want to attack this problem. Now, it can be really tempting to think, okay, I need to do all of my decluttering before I can do anything else, or I need to do all of my routines or all of my meal plan. Well, what you actually want to do when you are only committing 15 minutes a day to this process is you want to put the tasks in the front that are going to give you the most time back right away. Because you need that time, right? The reason you want to streamline your home is because you don't have those extra 7 hours in your week. So we need to put the tasks in such an order that it's going to give you the most time right away, then you can continue to streamline your home with that time. So typically the task that I start with, the task that I use first in my membership programs and things like that, is creating a super simple meal plan. Now this isn't your long-term meal plan. This is a 1-week meal plan with super simple meals for breakfast, lunches, and dinners. And that right there is going to give you those 15 minutes a day where you can work on this because you're going to start spending less time in the kitchen, less time grocery shopping, less time cleaning up. And then once you have that super simple meal plan in place, you want to start with your decluttering and your routine tasks that you need to work on. And like I said, it can be, especially if you have a personality like mine, I call myself a completionist. I like to complete one task before I move on to another. And it can be a little tempting to say, I need to do all of the decluttering before I do any of my routines. And that works really well if you have 8 weeks of time where you can just block it off and declutter your house and get it done. But when you're only doing 15 minutes a day, it is going to take you longer to get to the end of the task. So you want to organize the tasks in such a way that it's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, for lack of a better term, and will give you the most time back so that you can continue forward and keep working on all of these tasks.
Yes, that's super helpful, Kassy. Thank you so much for explaining that. And I believe you also have a special gift for us today. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, I've put together a checklist for streamlining your home, and there are 5 steps in the checklist that I'm going to talk about today. And I'm also including in the checklist some different examples for when you are kind of breaking down those bigger categories, some things that you want to make sure you are covering as you complete each section. And the last part of this planning phase is to mark your calendar. you want to figure out a time every single day where you are going to commit to these 15 minutes a day. And you want to stick to this just like you would any other appointment. Keep that time with yourself, keep that appointment with yourself so that you make sure to prioritize this process, because it is so worth it when you get to the other side. And even though it seems like a big thing to do when you're getting started, just putting one foot in front of the other will allow you to reach your goal. Okay, so once we have all of our planning done, the second step is to create some extra time in our day. So doing those first steps that are most important. You want to create that super simple meal plan, like I mentioned already. You want to create a daily block schedule, and I have a video on my channel that can show you exactly how to do that, which we will link down in the description, and we may even be able to put it in the cards. We'll see how it all works out. And then you also want to create a weekly rhythm. And I also have a couple of videos on how to do that you can look there and see exactly how to create your weekly rhythm. And those three things will give you some immediate time right back into your day. Then the third step is to just get started. And what you're going to do is you're going to just work down that fifth piece of paper that you have with all of your prioritized tasks. You're going to start at the top and you're going to do one task at a time until it is completed. Now, that doesn't mean you take more than 15 minutes a day. That means you keep coming back to that same task every day until it is done. Because if you're decluttering your kitchen, there's no way you're going to get that done in 15 minutes. But you can do a drawer in 15 minutes. And I like to use sticky notes to keep track of which drawers I've done and which drawers I still need to do. So just do one small section, and even if that drawer takes you more than 15 minutes, go back to that same drawer until it is completely done. And then you move on to the next one and the next one. That way you feel like you're making some progress and you can cross things off your list right away. The fourth step that you want to do is you want to get your family involved. This is actually where you are going to start assigning chores. And a lot of people make a big mistake with this. They get all excited about chores, say we're gonna redo everything, let's do the chores right away. And it's actually a huge mistake. You want to get your kids involved in chores after you have already put in some of the work to make everyone's life easier. Because it's not really fair to tell your kids you need to clean your room when they have more than they can manage. So I just did a video about this as well, with 11 mistakes parents make when it comes to chores, and maybe we can link that down below as well. And that will give you some ideas for how to get started with chores the right way with less frustration for everyone. And then the last step that you want to do when you are streamlining your home is you want to keep the peace, as I call it. And this is where you set boundaries. You want to set boundaries on your stuff. You want to set rules for the people in your house, such as when you get something out, put it away. And you also may need to set boundaries for other people. If you have other people that like to give a lot of things to your household, have talks with them and tell them, hey, we just went through this whole streamlining process and I'd really rather not do it again. So setting boundaries is also really important to make sure that your home stays peaceful and happy and easy to manage.
Amazing. And is there a special time in the day that you recommend people do it?
No, because it depends on when works for you. You know, if you are a stay-at-home mom and your kids are gone during the day and you have between 8 and 3 p.m. to work on this without any distractions, use that time. And if you're like me and all of your kids are home all day long and it seems like there's always somebody awake at some point, you can either get up early, 15 minutes before everyone else gets up, to work on it then, or if you're more of a night owl like I am, you can stay up 15 minutes later and work on it in the evening. Another option is if you work from home and you have your lunch break, you can do it then. So it really doesn't matter what time of the day, as long as it is a consistent time so that you get in the habit of doing this and it doesn't fall by the wayside.
I love that. I think you're mentioning something super important in terms of habits. And so I think the big question is, how long does it take to actually gain those 7 hours per week?
So to gain the full 7 hours really depends on where you are starting from. A lot of people have a lot of clutter that they have to go through, and it will take them a little bit longer to get there. Some people just need to make minor adjustments and they will get there a little bit faster. But when you organize these tasks in the way that we talked about, with the tasks that are most important right up front, those tasks that will give you the most time, you will start seeing more time in your day within the first week. I have 2 members that I can think of right off the top of my head that have told me this is the case for them, just with making those first few changes within the first few days.
Amazing. And the last question I have for you is, how do you think about self-care as you're setting up this new system? Because obviously, even though you're streamlining your home and you're creating all of these different categories and tasks that you need to complete, you shouldn't forget to also create space during that time for yourself too. So how do you think about managing and organizing all of that?
One way that I like to do it is I always take off 1 day a week. And that's something that I have always done and I continue to do. So I don't do any work on 1 day a week. For me, that is Saturday because of my religion, but it can be any day that you want it to be. And if you really want to take a day off, you can even get paper plates and paper bowls and not even do dishes on your day off. And that will help recharge your batteries so that you have the energy to do these extra 15 minutes every other day of the week. If you're just feeling a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit stressed, not quite sure what step you need to take next, Julia and I filmed a video where she gave us 10 different ways to de-stress in 1 minute or less. And choosing one of those ways would be an excellent way to do some self-care while you are in the middle of this process.
This is so fascinating, and I'm so glad that we had you today, Kassy. Thank you so much for all of the important insights. If you're curious to learn more about Kassy, Kassy has a YouTube channel as well, and I hope that you check it out and subscribe, because she's sharing so much wisdom with her community and her audience around streamlining the home and obviously being a good parent as well. And if you have any questions for Kassy, if there's anything that she didn't address in the video today, make sure that you leave a comment down below and give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, so we know that we potentially produce more in the future. Thank you so much, Kassy, for being here today. It was such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was so fun to be here.
That's all we wanted to share with you today. So thank you again for watching this video today, and I hope to see you in the next one.